Hey, dear Thriver, welcome to Thriver TV. Today, let's talk about what happens when you stand up to a narcissist, because you know it's not nice. But before we get into that, I want to remind you, if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll hear about each new video that I do. All right, standing up to a narcissist goes horribly. Why and how can you do it better? That's what today's video is all about. All right. So why does it go so horribly? Why are narcissists so combative when you try to stand up to them? Okay, they stand on your foot. They do the most awful things. They do things that are cruel, thoughtless, neglectful, selfish. And of course, you're going to say, ouch, when they stand on your foot. But why do they get their back up so much? Well, a narcissist is always going to get their back up, and it's for two reasons. The first one is a narcissist has a deeply insecure, fragile inner identity. The more insecure somebody's inner identity is, the greater the defense mechanisms. So the narcissist has the granddaddy of all defense mechanisms, because the narcissist, in their false self narrative, because their inner true self is so defective, this narrative is, I'm omnipotent. I have to be beyond reproach. I am superior. I can't be wrong. So as soon as you try to pull them up on something, the narcissist is immediately triggered into a narcissistic injury, which means I can't bear this. I have got to attack with my defense mechanisms. I can't be wrong. I have to make you wrong and me right. So that's why they're always going to be triggered. The second thing about that is that a narcissist doesn't see you as a flesh and blood, autonomous, soulful human being. They don't see you as something to value as your feelings and your life force. Because to a narcissist, you are like they are to themselves. They're a cartoon cutout of the version that they want to be. They've objectified themselves by denying their inner self. And you are an object to serve the master, the false self, just as their false narrative is. So if you disagree with the false narrative, then it becomes all about them and defending the narrative. It doesn't matter what atrocious thing it is that they've done to you. They literally can't have a concept of, oh my gosh, I need to care about you and save your feelings, or risk you walking out on me, or risk you losing the relationship. The risk that they're actually running, that they're defending, is the risk of losing my false self-structure, my narrative on who I need to be. That's all they have got the energy to defend. So you have to be wrong. They have to be right, no matter how bad it is what they've done to you. Now, here's where we go wrong in this. We expect, we effort to get the narcissist to understand why we've said ouch, to actually listen to us calling them out, to realize what they've done wrong, to respect us, validate us, and honor our feelings and what they've done. And the narcissist has zero comprehension of that. So they're just focused in defending their narrative and making you wrong and them right. So you might say to the narcissist, well, I know you pathologically lied to me. I've caught you out. That was a pathological lie. And the narcissist has got a variety of ways that they'll go with this. They'll tell you that you're wrong, that you imagined it, that you saw it wrong, that you are simply you're simply triggered off the wounds of your past, and you're comparing me to this person of the past, and I'm nothing like that. Or they'll say, what about all the lies that you have said in the past? Or if they want to get off the topic of lying, they might say, they'll say to you, actually on the topic of lying, they might say something like, well, if you're going to accuse me of being a liar, I can't be with anybody who's going, are you telling me I'm lying? If you're going to tell me I'm lying, I'm going to walk out the door. They'll do something like that. They'll threaten abandonment. And the narcissist is very clued up about what your gap is, what your insecurity is, and where they need to fire a missile to disarm you. Think of it as a war. You're in a spiritual war and you're going after them. And they're like, well, if I just launch that missile and hit you right on that abandonment trauma, well, then your whole attack arsenal is just going to explode. It's not even going to work anymore. And I've got you. Because once the narcissist can trigger you and derail you and incite you into your emotional wounds, then your logic goes out the window and you start defending your wounds. And then the narcissist can flip the script and they can say things like, well, look at your anger issues, look at your jealousy issues, look at your, you're irrational, you're oversensitive, you're irrational. Or they'll say things to you like, look at your body language, you're raising your voice, how dare you swear at me? And by this stage, you are just losing your stuff and you're saying, well, you've pathologically lied. I've caught you out and now you're denying it. And of course I'm going crazy. I'm going mental. And you'll end up screaming and crying and stamping and shaking and they can just stand back at you and just tut, tut, tut and shake their head and, they've won and you've lost and you feel like you're the mental one losing your mind. Okay? And they have been able to get out of the blame and put it all back on you. It's horrible. It doesn't work. Now, when you're calling and then you get all confused and you think, well, there's something wrong with me and maybe I've got it wrong, and they'll pull up allies and excuses and blatant, more pathological lies. They'll double down on another lie and another lie to defend the false self. They'll do whatever it takes. So this is where we've been going wrong, because we've been trying to get them to get it. We've been trying to have a conversation and a relationship with this person, which you just can't have. So how do we fix it? How do we change it? Absolutely, you need to do boundaries with narcissists. You need to confront them in your life, because otherwise you're just going to roll over. You're just going to give to get. You're going to try to keep the peace and you're going to be overtaken and completely stripped dry. You can't acquiesce your way out of tyranny. It's actually impossible. It's just an invitation for more of it from a narcissist. So you're going to have to stand up. How do you stand up? You stand up by taking your power back, by not pointing out what they've done wrong, just by stating your truth. Now, this can be really hard to do until you've healed up those parts of longing and trauma bonding where you want an abusive metaphoric parent to parent you and love you differently. That's the inner child in us that has never healed up those kinds of wounds. And this is where NARP, the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, is such a game changer, because it allows you to get out of those wounds, bring source in and be an adult in your body. And as an adult in your body, rather than saying, you just pathologically lied to me, or whatever it was that they've done, the thousands of things that they do, whatever it was, rather you would just say, this is what I discovered, keep it very factual, and you just say, I know that in my life and in my truth, I only accept integrity. That's the only thing I accept, and that's who I am, okay? Because really what you're saying is, this is me, this is you. A narcissist will look at you like you've got two heads, but they won't know where to go because they can't talk you out of your decision for yourself. That's between you and source. Regardless of how somebody else wants to derail that, they can't. Okay, and the narcissist is not going to stand up. They're not going to meet you. They're not going to honor you. They're not going to respect you. Okay? I'll give you a couple of simple examples about, okay, you might have, let's say, a girlfriend in your life, and let's say that she says she's going to catch up with you and she keeps letting you down, and it's not okay, right? And you would say to her, sweetheart, this is happening. I really love you and I would love a better relationship with you. But the truth is, I'm only going to do relationship with you if your actions match your words, because that's how much I honor and respect myself. Now, she's a beautiful, good person. And I've had this conversation with people I love. she would say, oh, look, I'm so sorry, you know, this and this and this, and I know I shouldn't have treated you like that. And, you know, you're so right. And thank you for pointing that out. And, you know, yep, I'll step up. I'll meet you with that. I love you. I want that with us too. But you know they care. You know they've heard you, and they're a good, decent person with a good character. They want to meet you there. Okay, so this is so helpful in every area of your life. Rather than lecturing and prescribing and feeling guilty and explaining and justifying, just heal up enough to know what your truth is. Another example, I had a woman in my life who just recently, I put her on to do some work with me with one of the things that I do. And anyway, she pushed a boundary and went over an agreed line. And I pulled her up on it. And I just said, look, this is how it is. Don't do it again. And you need to know this was expressed. This is the line. I just said it like that. And anyway, she kind of went all silent, and I thought, that's weird, that's strange. And it felt funky, and I thought, I think I've got a narcissist here, but that's okay, we'll see. So anyway, she said okay, and she came back, and then she did it again. And I said to her, here's the deal. That line, you don't step over it again. And if this continues, we can't be doing this. This isn't going to work, right? That night she emailed me and said, I don't want to work for you. Now, the garbage took itself out. And the reason why is because she knew that I would not accept her messing with my boundaries, and she couldn't get away with it. So I hope that this is helpful. I understand when we're triggered in heartbreak and we want the validation and the love and the care from somebody who doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the desire, which is a narcissist. We keep clinging, hoping for that stuff, and trying to train them and school them and explain and lecture them and prescribe to them. And it's just a mess. And we just get more and more abused and demised in the process. So I want you to check out the link that I've put in the show notes, which is the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, which is my #1 go-to for you to be able to heal up those young broken wounds, to be able to bring in source and be an adult in your body and be able to choose the values and the truths of the life that you will live, because then you will lose all attraction to these people. Your trauma bonds will go, as well as your trauma symptoms, and you will graduate up to being able to generate healthy, authentic, honest, beautiful relationships. I really hope that makes sense. All right. And I'd love to know how you feel about this video. Lots of love. Bye-bye.